Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big drama going down over the last couple of days. Some big roster changes happening just before the start of the splits around the world, and also some big scrim results noted last night with MIBR's new 5th player in Verno seemingly absolutely cooking. Sassy's joined that organisation as well. Some Sentinels scrims to get into in addition. Loads of other updates on the day. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Apologies for no video the last couple of days. It's been busy out here in Dallas, and frankly, there's not been that much happening in the VALORANT world right now until, frankly, the last 24 hours or so, because there has been rather a lot going on, and the splits in the other regions, apart from China, are finally just about to get underway again after this big break following Bangkok. Gen.G are excited to get it underway. Of course, they're gassing up FNS in his final season of his career playing competitive VALORANT play, and of course CS and even earlier games way back in the day. Gen.G will be looking for the best, and of course they've made some controversial changes as of late. This from Dapper, confirmation that what we expected to be true actually didn't necessarily transpire. Qubit Academy, after they beat, I think, Envy, were probably expected to make a pretty decent run in North American challenges. That's not what happened. So Qubit took down Envy, knocked them out of the tournament a couple of days ago, and yeah, Canzera tried his best, but you gotta say, right, that this team, I mean, they were dominating and winning absolutely everything, and then all of a sudden they join Envy. I wouldn't say they necessarily took their foot off the gas, because I think Qubit played very well this series, but it is notable when a team joins an organisation expected to, win everything, maybe, dominate Ascension and all this. And of course, that have raised questions because some of their guys aren't even 18 yet, but still a talking point. And it was a really close series, 15-13 final map. But after that result, I know that many thought, okay, well, Qubit maybe are going to be the team to make the serious run, because M80 took out TSM, and then M80 2-0'd Qubit as well, and this one wasn't really close at all. It was 13-9, and the final map Lotus was 13-8. Qubit did not play their best stuff. M80 actually have started to make some serious inroads here, and this is pretty impressive, right, because as we know, M80, they decided to stick it out again. They brought in, they didn't have to necessarily grind out again a result here in this year's challenges and win Ascension, or at least try to win Ascension again. But they have done exactly that, and they formed an interesting roster to achieve it. SR, though, they are the team making the waves at the moment. So it's Paint and those guys, they've made it to the grand finals, and they will play the winner of Winthrop versus M80, because that is the lower final here. So very interesting result. That's coming up today. We've got more games coming up tomorrow. Just a quick China update as well. The first weekend of games has now concluded. FPX took down TEC 2-0. JDG lost to Wolves 2-0. So after the first weekend of games, this is how the two respective groups look, and finally, the other regions are going to get underway in the near future. Now, speaking of tournament play, we also got to talk about the Esports World Cup. So Sentinels are now officially a partnered team with the Esports World Cup going forwards. This is largely because they're involved in plenty of different esports, and, as Rob Moore says, want to ensure this brand becomes one of the biggest in the world, will continue to expand. This partnership is one of the very few in esports that allows that reality. Now, speaking of the World Cup, this is the format that has been confirmed. So July 8th until the 13th. So it's early in the World Cup. It's a timing that works for the VCT to get some of the teams there. Now, not every team is going to be there, because that would be pretty outrageous to have every team in World VALORANT in attendance. There will be 16 teams in attendance. The teams that are partner teams, they will be invited for sure, and then everyone else can kind of figure it out from there, I suppose. But actually, if you look at this, I mean, a lot of these teams are in VALORANT, so I'm not exactly sure how it is going to work. I guess we can look to count up the teams that are in VALORANT, right? So 100TR, so that's 1, All Gamers is 2, Billy Billy is 3, Cloud9 is 4, Edward is 5, FaZe aren't here anymore, Fnatic, that's 6, Furia is 7, G2 is 8, Gen.G is 9, Gentlemate is 10, JDG are in it, right, so that's 11, Carmine Corp is 12, Lever here 13, Louder in it 14, Na'Vi is 15, and then Sentinels is 16, T1 they won the recent tournament is 17, and then Liquid's 18, RIQ's 19, Secret becomes 20, Vitality's 21, KY is 22, and Wolves and Zeta, 23, 24. So out of these teams, 24 out of them are partners. So I think these are the only teams that will be going to the tournament, and presumably some of them won't be. So if your favourite team isn't one of those partner teams, then it doesn't seem like they're going to be there. But there will be 16 teams in attendance over that weekend, and there's going to be a 4 group stages basically. So they're going to play 4 groups of 4, and they're going to play 20 games in those groups to get to the point of actual qualification. And 20 games in those groups sounds like it will be a GSL style group system. So effectively win 2 before you lose 2 and you advance in the tournaments, because that usually involves having 5 matches per group, which would be 20 games, which is what we see here, because the group stage is going to be set over 3 separate days. There's going to be 12 matches on the first day of action, which is more Valorant than we ever typically get at one time. It's going to be chaos, but it is going to mean that there's going to be a lot to watch at basically all moments, with multiple streams going on at the same time, you'd imagine. The day 2, day 3 have 4 games to determine the teams that either get eliminated and then qualify into the bracket. Then the quarterfinals on the 4th day, the 2 semi-finals on the 5th day, and then the grand finals on the final day of the tournament. So that's what it looks like. There's lots of teams, lots of action to be played in a relatively concise fashion, which I think is going to be entertaining. But of course, many people will have their perspective on this tournament and whether they will, decide to boycott watching it for reasons that we have discussed at length on the channel in previous months and years. Now, let's talk about Fnatic and some of the roster drama currently ongoing, because Fnatic, their coach Doombros, of course, who came in and seemingly has done an okay job with them so far after some controversial, let's say, coaching from Elmer Pully over the last year or so. He, unfortunately, will not be joining the team for Stage 1 because, as he describes, he's been struggling with health issues. Due to medical examinations, he won't be able to travel to Germany. So, he says that health is number one, so wishing him the very best, because, that's really unfortunate to hear at a pretty critical moment for Fnatic to try and turn it around. The other big update we have is from Vitality. This is a pretty unexpected move on some regard. Maybe it was the same story for Team Liquid, really. But the fact that Vitality, given the super team that they put together, the roster that they formed, they made a respectable run in Bangkok, of course, before eventually losing to T1 in the lower sides. But still, this team, Trex, Dirk, are less safe in kicks. They seem to be, sure, they lost to the eventual champions, but they looked pretty solid. And given that, this super team potential had its serious question marks as to whether it would actually work or not, because typically these teams, either they work and they thrive, or internally they're a bit of a shambles and they collapse and they're terrible. This team, it seems, is somehow both, where they've looked very good and incredibly impressive, but yet they're still getting rid of Trex. So Trex to go is, again, a surprise. Like, if you had to make me guess which player would go if they were going to make a change, I don't think I would have necessarily said Trex, but that's what they're going to do, and they've confirmed that officially. The head coach puts out this statement that Trex is to the bench and Saivov is coming in instead. They thank Trex for his dedication, and they don't really say that much more. But what they do say is that our goal is not just to be regional contenders, but to win champions. To reach that level, I felt it was necessary to make a change. Saivov is a young talent who brings potential, motivation, and natural synergy with the team. And that's also why they've got kind of Sayonara on board in the near term as well. So, yeah, it's all going on right now. And this is an official confirmation there from Vitality. Sliggy drops a little dagger into Ardis and says even your own organisation won't give you a chance. I thought it was pretty funny, but still kind of crazy to think about, right? That the two teams that made the grand finals of EMEA and qualified through to Bangkok, both of them have decided that a change is needed, and they're going to make a change. Of course, Kamek gone from Liquid, and now Vitality have got rid of Trex and made a change over there. A couple of other big updates to get through as well. This is Sassy, and he is now officially part of MIBR. So he's changed his at away from Sen Sassy, as we saw. He's now Gustavo Sassy again, and officially he's part of the Made in Brazil organization, which is pretty cool to see, actually. I think it's a nice update, really, to see him part of MIBR. It makes a lot of sense. Of course, it does cut all the ties with Sentinels, but it makes sense, of course, at this point, I think, for that to go as it has done. But speaking of MIBR, Sassy's not going to play for them. He's, of course, creator, part of the organisation. But Verno is going to play for them. That's what we believe anyway. The Nosra is gone and Verno is in. Now, he's not leaked this yet himself, he's still going as NRG Verno, but we do know quite clearly that Verno is not with NRG anymore, right? So this 19-0 series, scrim results here is presumably from MIBR. So, whoever they're playing, we don't really know, but he's not with NRG anymore. He is with, we think, MIBR, and they cooked somebody in scrims yesterday, which was pretty impressive, whoever it was, you'd imagine. NRG, even without, of course, Verno still there, with Brook there instead, they've been, at least according to their scrim results, slowly moving, I'd say, in the right direction. They had a 12-5 win here from Marder, whoever they were playing in that one. Probably notable to say that Sentinels were up 10-8 on MIBR. So if this MIBR team was 19-0, dominating some other team, but Sentinels were 10-8 up on them, maybe that says something. Cloud9 played a couple of scrims as well. They were down 3-11 to somebody. It was potentially Sentinels. That was the theory that was going around, and then it actually was potentially becoming 12-3 shortly after that. So yeah, in terms of current results, Sentinels are looking in a pretty decent position, but we're only a few days away now from the VCT regular season finally getting back underway. So very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.